Hello, good morning. I'm your teacher for today. My name is Jury C. Gregory. I'm your valid teacher. Now we have to tackle about the dignity of human persons. You can see in the screen. Before you sit down, can I have some persons to lead the prayer? And after the prayer, just arrange your chairs. Then you can pick up your paper under your chair. Hi, good morning everyone. Good morning classmates. Good morning ma'am. I'm here na have to tackle about the dignity of the human person. These pictures we can say that regardless of age, the children and elderly, elderly the elder, the human and the man, regardless of gender, regardless of religions, the Buddhist or the Buddhism, the Christians, any difference of their religions. Then also have regardless of the color. The color is whites and the black. Black Americans. I also have also the another uh, terms like say the ibang lahi or yung mga negro, mga negrita, mga like that. The poor and the rich. Yes, of course the general and the community or in the places that have been included the regardless of economy backgrounds. There are many poor in the Philippines, and I have also a rich family, but it's not be complicated for that both of the pictures. Then we have to move the human dignity according to our Christian faith. The verse Genesis 1, verse 27, God created a man in his image. In his divine image, he created him. Male and female, he created him. This verse does have to tell them the Jesus Christ has created men and women, female and male, but in the image of God's have an individual in what in the persons like an Adam and Eve. Doon tayo nag-uumpisa. And the another slide, implication. Human shares and dividing image of God. We participate in God divine Trinitarian nature and call to belong in the community of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. We are called to be in communion with the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit as a child of God. As in the church of implications that have the dividends, the communions have to the end on sign of the cross. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. That's what have to call the traditions of the Catholic. Biblical sources of human dignity, the Old Testament, the Exodus story. I have seen in misery of many people who are in Egypt. I have heard their cry on account of his taskmasters. Indeed, I have their suffering and have come down to deliver for now an Egyptian and to bring them up out of the land of God and buried land of flowing with milk and honey. These Exodus 3 verse 4 and 5. The statements have the story. They have some person have to suffer. Just like Jesus Christ, he suffers the whole of word of the whole word because of the sin. The implication, God has pity for a human suffering who wishes people to be liberated and so live a life of dignity. All from forms an enslavement and oppression as a mockery of God, you creator of humanity in his own image. Human suffering is not the will of God, but rather something which must be abolished. God will is done on earth, and we considered for truly human existent. uncreated. The S1's identification. The New Testament, the Gospels. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because He has anointed me in bringing glad tidings to the poor. He has sent me in proclaim liberty to captive and recovery of sleep and the blind, into the blind, and to lead the oppressed to free, and to proclaim a year acceptable to the Lord. Luke 4 verse 18 and 19. The human right of dignity. The human right may be defined as those fundamental right of human essential for the exercise of human dignity, the right to things, the powers, privilege to which individual have the just claim, or are entitled to under the nature's law as the consequence of being human. The human rights and dimensions of the human person. The physical. Every person has the right to physical integrity and security, and in the first place the right to life. These rights outlaw and justify killing and torture and the violence of the person's sexual integrity. The human beings have a right to do basis basic minimum of the materials necessity from the perseverance of physical life. Spiritual. A human person have the right to freedom of consequence, belief and worship, of the right to belong to the religion's community. They have the right to educate their children in their own religious traditions, to be a community, their religions belief in public. The moral. A moral rights of the human persons applied particularly to the right of conscience. The right of conscience would also include the right to be able to form cons- conscience. These would involve the right to information, the relevant of the formation of conscience, and the right of education that frustrate frustrate the development of conscience. Next, the personal. The right of our own and individuality include the right of freedom of movement, the right of freedom of choose and employment, the right to marry, and the right of choose of marry partners. The negatively, the state of obliged to refrain from any restriction of this right. Social. The right to be a nationality and to be the status of being a member of society. This prohibits all the laws depriving people of the citizenship. Sexual. The right of marriage and to have the children. Prohibits the sexual discrimination, forced marriages. Intellectual. The right to the right to trust and the right to develop intellectual ability. Prohibits any unjustified circumspect propaganda. Obliges the state of provide for the educational for the youth. Economy. The right of own properties and the right of enter into the business constructs. That the right to buy the seal, and the right work of just compensation. The right to form unions. Political. The right to vote, to form political parties. to stand for the political office, to run from the public office. Cultural, the right to use and fosters the language of one culture group, the right to fosters one culture's identify without persecution as harassment. Artistic, the right to free artistic expression and the right to an opportunity to develop artistic capacities of lights the state of others authorities to to through provide opportunity for the development of artistic capacities. Thank you so much for listening. This one to hear and this one to stimulate for your um, lessons. Then one of things that I have say. Thank you for listening and thank you for having me your teacher for today. Have a good day and thank you so much. Class, thank you so much for listening and you can see me in our office around 4 p.m. for your submissions, your quizzes. And thank you, your cooperations.